go! Turns out a lot of people weren't happy about me putting Vinland Saga on a worst anime of the year list. Well, don't worry. There will be no talking negatively of anime today, because today we are here to talk about my top 10 favorite anime of 2019. And yeah, this was a great year for anime. A lot of great, fun, creative stuff. And thankfully, I do think I got to a good portion of what was big and popular and just well reviewed and well beloved this year. So yeah, this is my personal list consisting of the top 10 things I liked. If your favorite show wasn't on here, that's totally fine. Sure, it was great. Maybe just didn't get a chance to see it, or it just didn't work for me as well. Also remember, these are 10 anime where you kind of gotta really sit there and decide really hard which you like better than the other. So if some big popular stuff that was beloved gets a little bit lower than people expect, don't worry. It doesn't necessarily mean that I think less of it than anything else on the list. It just didn't appeal to me compared to some other stuff. So without further ado, let's get started. Number 10, this is the main one I was just talking about, Demon Slayer. So yeah, Demon Slayer boasted some of the most amazing visuals of 2019. Like, oh god, like when you're saying the manga doesn't do the anime right, like Jesus, this thing was gorgeous to look at. On top of that, it's got some very lovable characters, a very fun, investable story that you're always rooting for, some great comedy, great settings, beautiful art all around. This is a super fun show that really gets to your emotional level, and again, man, that final fight is just beautiful and gorgeous. Number 9 is the Wait What? This Is Here award, and it goes this year to Fruits Basket. So when I was a kid, Fruits Basket was on an ad for it was on every anime videotape, including, if I remember correctly, Pokemon. And to me, it always just seemed like kind of a standard chick flick kind of thing. And then when I got older, I found out to a lot of people it is the definitive chick flick type anime. But I decided to give this remake a chance, and something about it just kind of stuck with me. Like, something about this show really resonated. I don't really even know what it is. Maybe it's the fact that it puts emotion first in a world where I think big anime usually try to put plot above all else. Maybe it's kind of my sort of bit of nostalgia for the way anime and storytelling was done in the 90s compared to how it's sort of done nowadays. Maybe it's just the lovability of the characters. This is a show with some very likable, fun, relatable, enjoyable characters. Maybe it's the humor. It's really funny, and I think that it doesn't take its really weird out there plot that seriously, so it kind of lets you get into the plot more. Like, I could really feel like I was bonding with everybody, if that makes any sense. And I felt like I really did want to know what happened next, because when it wasn't being serious, it was okay with you not taking it seriously and kind of delving into the humor of what you can get out of this wacky plot and everything going on. So ultimately, it's just one of those shows that just kind of hits all those right notes for me, and I can see why this, of all the 90s anime, is the one that gets a proper remake in 2019. Number 8 is the receiver of the Just Plain Fun Award. Welcome back to the list, Bungo Stray Dogs. This is such just a fun, wacky, out there anime. If you love things like My Hero Academia, why the hell haven't you checked this out? This is just a great show with just a really fun cast, and just they go on really fun adventures and really fun, crazy superpowers. And the other thing I appreciate about this season is that it does amp things up. Like, the villain is a lot scarier and a lot more serious than he was in the last arc. There's just a general sense of fear going when the main plot goes. There's just a general, increase in, stakes, and it really worked and felt good to see these characters go through some more shit than they did before. But what ultimately sells you on this show is just the moments of fun and levity. I love that there's a bunch of episodes in this that are just simple 15-minute adventures with these characters because you just love them so much and you just want to see what happens next with them. And it's the kind of show where your favorite moment will probably be everyone just goofing around at a cafe saying silly shit to each other. And for that reason, I love me some Bungo Stray Dogs. Number 7 goes to the Wait What? This Was Good award. And I'm telling you all this right now, pronouncing this one is going to be a dog because I never bothered learning the dub name. So yeah, it is Ore wo suki nano wa omadake kayo. I think the translation for this one was something like, do you love me, not her weird, cynical, romantic comedy thing. So yeah, this was kind of that anime in the fall that I think really blindsided everybody. I don't think anyone was expecting this show to be what it is. A quick little informal what it's about. It's about this dude who at first is like your typical kind of like normal, nice guy, best friend, never gets the girl, but now I'm gonna get the girl because two hot chicks want to say they're in love with me, and like I'm gonna get my own harem, damn it. And it ain't that. Boy, am I glad it ain't that. Like, when this show gets into some of its meaner humor, like, mean humor is kind of hard to pull off. A lot of people are just like, oh, do an insult, say something vulgar, and you've got mean humor. No, 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 my friends. Mean humor has to be handled very delicately. You've really gotta figure out how to get the audience wanting to watch someone who is despicable, doing something they shouldn't, being manipulative, being horrible, and oftentimes being surrounded by people who are also manipulative and horrible. And this anime pulls it off so damn well. Now, as many people pointed out, though, as it went, though, it did get a little bit more in the range of typical sort of harem-y, happy-go-lucky. It almost kind of felt like whoever wrote the original light novel didn't really have a plan after the first arc, but it's such a lovable, funny show, and these characters are so delightfully malicious, if that is the right term, that you're kind of just on board for everything that happens. It's a really great anime with really great characters. Girls are fucking hot, especially that main chick with the glasses. Whoa, baby. This is a really fun anime with also some really great acting, too. Really love the way the actors got into just being assholes. So yeah, this is a great anime. If you didn't check it out, why didn't you? You probably did. Everyone was saying, oh my god, what the fuck is this? Coming in at number 6 is the, wait, of the two things this was similar to, this was the good one award. I know I just made that up. So we've got ourselves Ascendance of a Bookworm. Now, when the year began, and we all thought Rising of the Shield Hero was going to be the good isekai, it was going to be the smart one, it was going to do something different with the tropes. It turned out we were dead wrong. And then this came out, and if we were this was the one that did all that. And the show does a lot of similar things to Shield Hero. It tries to not necessarily be about action. It wants to focus more on character. It wants to show kind of like economics. It wants to focus on the world. It wants to do all these things that they don't normally do in isekai. But in that show, the world wasn't interesting, so I didn't care. But this show puts so much time and effort into developing its world and making the characters fun and also like getting you to care about stuff you shouldn't. There was a 10-minute conversation about selling the patent to shampoo, and I wanted to keep watching. Oh man, it's such just a clever, quirky, fun little show, and the slow pace of it actually really helps it a lot, because a lot of times in this show, like, you're just seeing a character like try to figure out how to make something, and we can spend 10 to 15 minutes on them not making it work, failing and screwing up, but it's so lovable and adorable and really well shown off and executed that you just want to keep watching. And I'm glad that an isekai was able to do that for me this season, because this is such a dead genre for me, but you can always count on an anime to come and just sort of change your opinion. Number 5, we have the Feels Award, and this year it goes to Given. Given is definitely an anime that fell under a lot of people's radar, but I loved it, and a lot of people who did check it out did end up loving it. This is an anime, at first it looks like it's a pretty boys play music anime, which it is. 100%. These are some very pretty boys. But this is an anime that deals with a lot of themes that people want anime to explore but often doesn't. It deals with people being gay. It deals with gay relationships. But it also deals with stuff like living with what is clearly meant to be autism, how the world perceives you because of this, how hard it can be to get into relationships because of things like that. and just kind of how complicated all that gets when it's all swirling together. A lot of times in this anime, I almost felt this weird anxiety, like, not because anything intense was happening, nothing intense ever happens in it, but there's just something about watching someone go through life and what they've got to deal with because of things that are out of their control, because of how people perceive them, and because of how then other people want to either live up to that or try and do better, and all these different things that I feel like in a world where everything is based around big epic action and quips, we just don't get a lot of. And I feel like that's really why this anime got to me on an emotional level. It felt like it understood that side that isn't always easy to explore. And I'm glad I did it. I'm glad it did it. And I'm glad I tuned in to watch because, yeah, this was definitely the underrated, fell under the radar anime of the season. And if you take nothing from this list, please watch Given. It really deserves every view it gets. Number 4, of all the serious pretty boy anime Amazon is putting out, the best one this year was Dororo. I, from the minute the anime year began, wanted to watch Dororo. You don't get a lot of remakes of anime from the 60s. You don't get a lot of interpretations of manga from that era as well. So to see it coming out, and after Mappa had just blown me away with Banana Fish, I knew I had to check this out, and I was in no point ever disappointed. Dororo features some breathtaking, excellent, gritty action scenes, some really fun, interesting storylines, some really fascinating concepts dealing with things like faith and humanity and forgiveness and trying to move on in life, and just does it all in just this excellent package. I really felt like it wasn't afraid to explore and go in whatever direction it needed to and deal with whatever it wanted to. I really enjoyed the characters. Obviously, it's mostly just Dororo and Hyakimaru, but they have a really good dynamic and balance, which is not easy to pull off considering one of them can't talk for a lot of the show and then barely knows like 50 words for the rest of it. So all in all, this is a very good anime, very excellent. A lot of people got into it, and it's the reason I want to give Amazon a chance. Sure, Babylon and Vinland Saga didn't do it for me as much as it did other people, but I feel like no other platform right now is trying to go with more adult anime, try to deal with more serious topics that might not necessarily be sellable on, like, say, a Crunchyroll or even Netflix, where they want to mostly get younger anime viewers in. But the fact that someone has picked that niche and is willing to go forward with it, it means I'll always be there to check out what Amazon's going to put out. Number 3, Dr. Stone, Crunchyroll's big hype anime of the year. I remember hearing about the manga for this and just not being very interested in it. I feel bad I wasn't, because man, this show was great. I was not expecting to love this one as much as I did. Shonen Jump as a magazine has really been trying to explore some new ideas as of late, and I think it's really worked to its benefit, because something like this does not sound sellable at all. So you're gonna have this manga with these really weird looking characters, and also it's going to be sort of like about science, and we're going to spend sometimes entire episodes on one scientific advancement and experiment. Oh, and there's going to be a crazy JoJo-esque villain looking to create a weird perfect utopian society, and everyone is a stone statue, and it's the Stone Age. Yeah, that doesn't always sound sellable, but I'm so glad they took a risk on it, and I'm so glad Crunchyroll went and helped get this thing made and really sell it, and I'm so glad this got popular. It's so rare to find an anime that can go so deeply into one subject like science and make it fun and make it lively. When other shows here in the States, like something like this, would just be seen as boring education type television, but the characters are fun, the humor's on top, the story is lively, it's well paced, the animation's good. Everything about Dr. Stone just works on a fundamental level, and it gives us a story that a lot of people wouldn't expect an anime to bring. And for that reason, I loved it. I salute you, Dr. Stone. Can't wait for season 2. Number 2, Food Wars. Yes, I know, I've put Food Wars on this list every year it's been out. This is my list. I can do whatever I want, and I love Food Wars. I have nothing else to say about this anime. I've done a few videos on it, but I will say this, and this is a spoiler. But the reason this anime still makes my list, despite admitting this arc wasn't as great as some of the other ones, is that the way they beat the villain is by making him involuntarily send out a psychic wave that forces pretty teenagers to go into their underwear. That is why Food Wars will forever be on this list and will forever be one of my faves. Number 1, to some of you this anime is pretty obvious, but I don't think there really is anything else that deserves number 1 as much as Mob Psycho 100. This was the anime that ruined all other anime for this year because I had to compare it to this masterpiece. This is a fantastic, amazing anime. And especially because I didn't want to watch season 1 when it came out. Yeah, I really didn't. I liked One Punch Man. I thought it was overhyped and didn't really end up loving that show. So going into this, I'm like, I don't know. The pilot didn't really sell me, but oh my god, I'm glad I finally gave it a try. Animation-wise, this is on another level. Visually, it is stunning, it is gorgeous, it makes ugly beautiful. The colors, the action, everything about the animation is gorgeous and is some of the best I think I've ever seen. The characters are great. Mob is best boy. Mob is best boy forever. I love Mob. I really come to like Reagan and Dimple, and just everyone is so fun and lovable in this show. The humor is fantastic. You never stop laughing, except when it's time to get serious. And this show might handle the move from comedy to drama whenever it needs to. Maybe some of the best I've ever seen. Every dramatic moment in this is effective and works, and you love everything about everyone and every character. And I think Mob Psycho 100 is as close to perfect as really an anime could get. This was my favorite thing made by human hands I saw in 2019, and it's just gorgeous, and it's one of those things that reminds you why we watch anime. Nothing like this would ever get made in the West. Nothing like this would ever let itself be this weird. Decide to take a badly drawn pencil webcomic and make it so accurate but so amazing at the same time. It reminds you why we go after this medium, why we want that level of creativity and passion. And it is a reminder of why anime can be such an excellent medium, and a reminder of why I want to keep going forward in the future. There's some great anime out right now in 2020, and some great yet to come. And I hope you all join me in the future, and tell me what you loved below, and what you thought of this list. So give me all your thoughts and comments below, and as always, click to like, click subscribe, and join me for what is yet to come.